So over the past few weeks, I've been getting a bunch of brand new Makeship plushes in the mail recently, and I decided to just wait and get most of the plushes in the mail to review them. And so, we have a lot to review. I want to start with this guy right here. So Makeship did a collab with the developers of Billy Bustup and Medical Sans Frontiers, or as they're called, Doctors Without Borders, to make a campaign of both Fantokyo and the Amoeba Sisters, I believe. So Doctors Without Borders provides medical care to people who are affected by conflict, natural disasters, diseases that was outspread, and lack of access to healthcare. And Makeship collabed with them and made a charity to promote Doctors Without Borders and made 2 plushes being Fantokyo and the Amoeba Sisters. If you're more interested in Doctors Without Borders, I will put a link in the description of an article that you could read. So let's begin reviewing this plush. Here's a better look at the side tag. It's a special design to promote Doctors Without Borders, and there was only 201 made of this Fantokyo plush. And here is the back of the tag. It's a bright red, and it has the logo Billy Bustup, since Fantokyo is from the indie game Billy Bustup. I really like the bright red and red velvet coloring on this plush. It's really nice, and the stitching and details are fantastic. A small little complaint is that the plush's feather on the hat is kind of bent, but that was just because it was in packaging, and the hat feels a little bit understuffed compared to the original Fantokyo plush. And speaking of the original Fantokyo plush, here is the first release of Fantokyo. Here are the 3 currently Billy Bustup plushes I currently own, being Fantokyo, Billy, and Oscar, and the MSF Fantokyo plush. And there's also a brand new Billy Bustup plush, being Barnaby. He's currently on Makeship's website, and I believe he's fully funded. So I might get him eventually, whenever I get the chance to. Something I noticed about Fantokyo's robe is it feels a bit thinner compared to the original release. And the first release is a bit rougher than the second release. But that's just, I think it's because of different material, but I honestly don't know. Also, the little gem underneath the robe is white, whenever the first release has yellow. Here's the front of the plush. Here's the side of the plush. Here is the back of the plush. And here's the other side. Next plushie we have is VR Cat from the game VR Chat. It's a closer look at the side tag. There's 2,557 made, and here is the back of the tag. So the face of the plush is printed on, but the eyes, nose, and mouth are stitched on. The head is a little wobbly, but that's just because the head is massive compared to the tiny little body on the plush. Paw prints on the plush is stitched on, and the tail on the plush is for some reason printed on. The back of the box has the VR Chat logo stitched onto the plushie. Here is the front of the plush. Here is the side of the plush. Here is the back of the plush. And here is the other side. Next up, we have Mayor Onion from the game Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. A really cool thing about this plush is that the little fork or weapon is Velcro, so you can remove it, and it attaches onto the back. So here's a closer look at the fork. It is completely printed on with all the details, and it attaches onto the back of Mayor Onion, like so. 3 leaves on Mayor Onion is completely printed on, whenever the smaller parts of the leaves are just normal plush material. The majority of the plush is printed on. Besides the mustache, it is a separate piece of plush material. The main base of the monocle is made out of felt, and it has some plastic on it to make it look like it has some glass on it, and it gives off this glossy, shiny look when it reflects to light. And it also has a golden little string on it as well. Stubby legs are just normal plush material instead of being printed on. There's only 437 made of this plushie. Here's a comparison of the Turnip Boy to the Mayor Onion plush. Here is the front of the plush. Here's the side of the plush. Here is the back of the plush. And here's the other side. Next up, we have Gwyndolin. I really like this plushie as well. There's only 1,408 made. Here's the front of the tag, and here's the back. Really like her hair. It's honestly really nice, and it's really soft. Same with the little bandana on the plushie. The main base of the body is made out of nylon, and the little feet and shoes are made out of plush material. The tank or canister right here is made out of nylon as well, and the weapon is made out of plush material, followed up with printing for the main base of the plush right here. Bandages or cut marks on her face is stitched onto the plushie. So here's a little comparison of the Dart Monkey plush to the Gwyndolin plush. Now there is another plushie coming in the mail. I'm not sure when he's coming in. It's the Oben Greenfoot plush. I'm not sure if I pronounced his name correctly, but I'm still waiting for him to come in the mail. But for now, here's the Gwyndolin plush next to the Dart Monkey plush. So Gwyndolin has a little tail, kind of similar to the Dart Monkey plush. Here's the front of the plush. Here's the side of the plush. Here is the back of the plush. And here is the other side. Next up, we have Trigger Teddy from Dark Deception. Now before we review this plushie, I'm going to review the bag. Makeship made a brand new bag design for their Makeship plushes, and I really like this design. It's honestly really nice. It's a bright pink and purple design, and it has pictures of some of the characters that they made in the past. And here's the back of the bag. So Makeship also made a brand new tag design for this plushie, which is honestly starting to get a little bit inconsistent, which I'll explain later. But this plushie only has 589 made. And here's the back of the tag. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a big fan of Trigger Teddy. He's just not my favorite character, and honestly, in my opinion, he's kind of forgettable, but I still like this plushie nevertheless. This plushie is really nice, and it's really, really soft. For me, personally, I feel like Mama Bear is more memorable than Trigger Teddy, but that's just me. I do really like the stuffing coming out of the plushie. It's honestly a really nice design that they did, and I had no idea how else they would have done this. I think what they did is they got some like fur and they just kind of glued it onto the main base of the plush, and honestly, it looks really nice. Although I am kind of worried that this little part right here on the leg will come off. But that's just my only little complaint I have. The bow tie is really well made and is stitched on pretty nice to the plush. And also, I just noticed that the little stuffing right here is attached to the bow tie, which is kind of weird. Which kind of makes me think it was a factory error because I feel like this should have been glued down. But other than that, it's honestly a really nice plushie. And I really like what they did with the teeth. They're stitched on, kind of like what they did with the Lucky plush and Hangry as well. It really looks nice. I like it. And same goes with the little stitch mark on the face and on the back of the plush. It's all stitched on rather than being printed on. The claws on the foot and the arms of the plush are thick pieces of felt. Here's the front of the plush. Here's the side of the plush. Here's the back of the plush. And here's the other side. So something I forgot to mention, the Trigger Teddy plush has a little tail, which is honestly a really cool design, which I wasn't expecting the plush to have. Next up, we have Mr. Hop. I really love this plush. I love Mr. Hop's Playhouse. It's one of my favorite games, and this plushie does Mr. Hop justice. I love this guy so much. It's really well made, and it looks just like the character from the game. The bow tie and the pants are made out of nylon, and I believe that the pants are stitched onto the plush, but if you want, you could technically cut off some of the threading and you can remove the pants. But I wouldn't do that because it would kind of damage the plush. There is only 308 of this plushie made, and here is the back of the tag. One tiny complaint I have on this plushie is the whiskers. I'm not a big fan of them. They just go all over the place, and I just don't like them, and they feel a little bit cheap. I feel like they should have done something similar to the Lucky plush with the little fur sticking out of the plushie, but that's just me personally. And here's a little comparison of my custom Mr. Hop plush to the official plush. Now, I really like my custom, but I made this like 2 years ago, I think. And I will definitely replace this guy with the official one, because this plushie just looks nicer in my opinion. But I kind of wish what they did with the ears is make them bendable, because with my custom, I made it where you can bend the ears with like wires in them. I kind of wish they did that, but nevertheless, I still love this official plushie of Mr. Hop, and I will definitely replace this guy eventually. Another small tiny complaint I have on this plush is that the smile, I feel like it's too wide, and I feel like they should have made it a bit smaller. I just don't like it. It just makes him look a bit derpy looking. But that's just me personally. I feel like they should have made the smile a bit smaller. So here's the front of the plush. Here's the side of the plush. Here's the back of the plush. And here's the other side. And last but not least, we have Mama Bear. So like I mentioned with the Trigger Teddy plush, I kind of prefer Mama Bear more than Trigger Teddy. That's just me. I just find her design more unique, and I just like her. Her boss was really well made in Chapter 4 of Dark Deception, and I just think she's really cool as a character. Here is a look at the side tag. There is only 491 made, and here's the back. The little organs design on the plush is actually stitched on and not printed on, which is honestly a really nice design, and I'm glad that they didn't just print it on. The tutu is really well made and is extremely soft, and it goes all around the plushie. Also, something I should mention, the blood in the mouth on the plush is stitched on, so there's no printing at all on this plushie, which is really nice to see. On Mama Bear, there is a little bow on her head, and the ears are made out of soft plush material. The stitching design goes from her front of the head all the way to the back and on her body. The claws on Mama Bear are a bit thin, unlike the Trigger Teddy where they're thicker. Here is the front of the plush. Here is the side of the plush. Here is the back of the plush. And here's the other side. So here's every single Dark Deception plush I now currently own. I'm waiting on Clown Gremlin to be shipped out, and Agatha. I'm just waiting on a notification of when they get shipped out. But here's every single plush I now currently own. Starting off with the first plush that was ever made for the Dark Deception plushies, we have Dreducky, Lucky the Rabbit, Bierce, Malik, Reaper Nurse, Gold Watcher, Murder Monkey, Hangry, Trigger Teddy, and Mama Bear. Earlier I mentioned with Trigger Teddy that the tag is starting to get a little bit inconsistent, and the reason why I say that is because first 6 Dark Deception plushes came with this original tag. At the time, almost all of the Makeship plushes had, which was this basic white tag with the Makeship logo. And here's what it looks like on the back. And with both the Murder Monkey and Hangry plush, their tag design changed from this black design with the blue font, which is a brighter blue compared to the first Makeship plushes that were made. And the tag changed again with Trigger Teddy and Mama Bear, so now they have this pretty basic design, and the font and logo of the company is now just white rather than being a bright blue. But with that out the way, I still do like the Mama Bear and Trigger Teddy plush. I think these plushies are really nice, and they are great additions to the Dark Deception plush collection. So here are all of the brand new Makeship plushies.